Act like you already won. You are not waiting to win. You have already won. The battle was settled the moment you dared to believe. The victory is not out there in some far-off future. It is alive within you now. Life responds not to your struggle, but to your assumption of triumph when you walk. Speak and carry yourself as if the promise is already fulfilled. The world bends to mirror your conviction. To act like you already won is not arrogance. It is faith in motion, creation unfolding, destiny revealing itself. The secret is not to wait for evidence, but to become the evidence. Victory is within before it appears. Without every great achievement begins not on the outside, but within the hidden chambers of the mind and heart. Before a single step is taken in the visible world, a quiet decision is made in the invisible one. To act like you already won, you must first realize that victory is not something to be gained, but something to be recognized. The seed of triumph is planted in consciousness long before it blossoms in circumstance. The outward world is merely a shadow of the inward state, and until you awaken to this truth, you will continue chasing results that seem to stay just out of reach. The battle is not fought with hands but with inner certainty. When you assume the state of victory, when you walk in the knowing that the end has already been secured, life bends itself to confirm what you have already embraced as true. Think for a moment about great inventors, leaders, and dreamers of history. Did they wait for the world to recognize them before they believed in their success, or did they live in the awareness of their accomplishment before anyone else could see it? The truth is, they carried the vision within them as though it had already come to pass. The poet does not wait for applause to call himself a poet. He writes, he feels, he embodies the role. The victorious one does not wait for the medal to know he has triumphed. He first feels it in the core of his being. This is the secret, what you inwardly accept as real. Your outer world must eventually reveal. Victory within is not a fleeting thought, nor is it mere wishful thinking. It is a dwelling place. It is an assumption you occupy as naturally as you occupy a chair. When you sit in a chair, you do not question if it will hold you. You rest in it with trust. So too must you rest in the awareness that you have already won. Doubt is the only weight that can throw you off balance. But when you carry yourself with the quiet confidence that the unseen is already accomplished, you are untouchable by fear, untouched by appearances, unshaken by delay. The world outside you is a mirror. If you stand before a mirror frowning, you cannot expect it to smile back. If you stand in it smiling, the reflection smiles with you. In the same way, when you occupy the consciousness of victory, the world must reflect victory. The mirror has no choice but to return to you what you present to it. Many live in the consciousness of defeat, expecting the outer world to rescue them with success, but the outer is powerless without the inner. The key is to first stand in triumph within, to say to yourself, I have already overcome. I have already secured this blessing. I have already arrived. Then the reflection must eventually agree. The challenge comes when the outer world contradicts the inner vision. This is the test of faith. If you look only to appearances, you will falter. For appearances are always the last to change. The invisible shifts first, and visible follows in time. When you plant a seed, you do not dig it up each morning to see if it has sprouted. You trust the unseen work beneath the soil. Likewise, when you plant the seed of victory within, you must trust its growth, even when nothing seems to move. The harvest comes not by anxious waiting, but by steadfast assurance. Victory within does not shout, it does not plead, it simply knows. The quiet strength of one who knows is far more powerful than the frantic striving of one who doubts. When you know, you stop begging life for answers and begin to declare them. You stop searching for signs and begin to embody them. The assurance of victory within radiates through every word you speak, every gesture you make, every step you take. People feel it without you saying a word. Situations bend without you lifting a finger. Why? Because the inner always governs the outer. Let us go deeper. To hold victory within is to hold the end from the beginning. It is to see yourself not as trying to achieve, but as already fulfilled. Imagine an actor stepping onto a stage. He does not wonder if he is the character. He steps into the role fully, living it as reality until the play is complete. Likewise, when you step into the role of the victorious self, you stop hoping and start being. You cease to question and begin to live from the certainty that your desire is accomplished. This is not pretending, this is creation. Your inner victory becomes visible through energy you radiate. When you know you have already won, you stop carrying the heaviness of fear. You walk with lightness, with joy, with confidence. Even in silence, your presence speaks. People respond differently to you because you are no longer waiting. You are embodying. Opportunities open, not because they suddenly appeared, but because your state of being allowed you to see and receive them. The door was always there, but victory within gave you the courage to turn the handle. When you live from the inner assurance of triumph, delay cannot discourage you. You know delay is only appearance, not truth. You know obstacles are only shadows, not reality. For the one who carries victory within, nothing can shake the certainty of what is already accomplished. The storms may come, the winds may blow, but the rooted tree does not move. In the same way, your inner stance of triumph anchors you through every trial, and when the storm passes, as it always does, the fruit of your inner knowing will be visible for all to see. There is a great error people fall into. They think they must fight the world to gain their success. They battle with others, with circumstances, with conditions, as though victory is outside waiting to be conquered. But the battle is not outside. The only true battlefield is within. If you conquer doubt, if you silence fear, if you assume victory as the natural state of your being, you have already won. Life cannot resist the one who knows. Outer is compelled to follow the inner law, so I ask you today, what victory are you waiting for? What dream are you holding at a distance? Stop waiting. Stop looking to tomorrow. The victory is not tomorrow's possession. It is yours now. Take it inwardly. Feel it deeply. Declare it boldly. Walk it. Though it is already done, the outer world will catch up, for it has no choice. The unseen governs the seen, and the within shapes the without. To act like you already won is to stop hoping and start living. It is to embody the truth that your destiny is not ahead of you. It is within you. Treasure you seek is not far away. It is already here, already alive, already yours. The victory is not a goal to chase, but a reality to embrace. Live from it, breathe from it, act from it. And soon what you carried within will shine so brightly that the world cannot help but witness the triumph. That was always yours. Imagination precedes manifestation. Everything you see in this world once lived in the unseen realm of imagination. The house you live in, the phone you use, the clothes you wear, all of them were first pictured in the mind of someone who dared to imagine before a single brick was laid, before a single stitch was sewn, before a single pot was built. Nothing that exists today was born by chance. It was conceived first in the invisible world of thought. To act like you already won, you must come to understand this. Imagination is not a pastime, not a luxury, not an escape. It is the womb of reality. It is the workshop of creation. The unseen image within you will eventually shape itself into the tangible facts of life. If you can hold it inwardly with conviction, you will one day hold it outwardly with your hands. Many people treat imagination as if it is merely fantasy, a daydream that floats away like smoke. But the truth is far greater. Imagination is the very power that forms the structure of your reality. To dwell in imagination is to stand in the place where all things are made. What you see and feel inwardly is not a mere illusion. It is the seed of the future. When you imagine victory, when you see yourself walking in the fulfillment of your desire, you are planting the very cause that will blossom in the field of time. And when you continue to water that inner vision with faith, persistence, and emotional certainty, the outer world cannot help but bring it forth. Look at the lives of those who achieved greatness. They did not wait for the world to tell them it was possible. They first saw it inwardly, long before anyone else believed. The inventor imagines the device before it can be tested. The leader envisions freedom before people are free. The artist sees the completed masterpiece before a single stroke is painted. This is the divine pattern. First the unseen image, then the visible form. You must first claim it inwardly before you can wear it outwardly. To act like you already won is to take your imagination seriously, to treat it not as fiction but as prophecy. Imagination is the rehearsal of victory. When you picture yourself already healed, already blessed, already successful, you are not pretending. You are rehearsing the state of being until it feels natural. And once it feels natural within, outer must conform. The inner rehearsal is the cause, the outer manifestation is the effect. Do not despise the rehearsal. Do not dismiss the imagination. It is the most powerful tool you possess. Some will say, But what if I am only fooling myself? The answer is this: you are always imagining something. Even doubt is imagination. Even fear is imagination. If you picture yourself failing, you are imagining failure into being. If you constantly see lack, you are imagining lack into reality. Why then not deliberately imagine victory? Why not choose to see yourself as the winner instead of the victim? You are never without imagination. The question is only what you are imagining. You are either rehearsing your defeat or rehearsing your triumph. To live from imagination requires discipline. The outer world will often scream the opposite of what you have conceived within. Appearances may say you are sick, broke, forgotten, overlooked, but imagination dares to contradict appearances. Imagination says, I see beyond this. I know what is true in spirit, and I choose to dwell in that truth. The imagination does not bow to facts, it shapes facts. The imagination does not beg circumstances for permission, it commands them into alignment with the vision it holds. To act like you already won, you must allow your imagination to be stronger than your senses. You must dare to believe in the unseen until the unseen becomes the seen. Think of a seed planted in the ground. When you look at it, all you see is dirt. Nothing on the surface suggests life. But beneath, in the invisible, life is already stirring. Seed is breaking, roots are reaching, a shoot is pushing upward. To the natural eye there is no evidence, but in imagination you already see the tree, the fruit, the harvest. You water it, protect it, and believe in it long before it rises above the soil. So it is with your desires. Imagination sees the harvest before the first sprout appears. Faith acts as though the tree already exists, and patience waits with joy until it emerges. Imagination is not passive, it is active creation. To imagine is to give shape to the formless, to pull the unseen into the seen. When you imagine with conviction, you are not daydreaming, you are creating substance. Every emotion you feel in that state is energy poured into the form of your desire. Every picture you hold is a blueprint. Every repetition of that inner scene builds the structure of what will appear. Imagination is the architect of destiny. Now, some may ask, how do I know my imagination is working? The answer is simple. You will feel it. The moment the inner scene feels real, you have planted the seed. If you can picture yourself walking in your victory and feel the joy, the relief, the gratitude as though it is already happening, then you have impressed it upon your inner world. The outer world may take time to catch up, but the inner creation is complete. Once complete, the outer must conform. The law is certain. You must, however, guard your imagination. It is sacred ground. Just as you would not plant weeds in a garden you hope to see flourish, you must not allow fear and doubt to choke your inner vision. Choose carefully what you dwell upon, for every thought leaves an imprint. Feed your imagination with what strengthens your vision. Speak words that align with the image you hold. Surround yourself with reminders of the reality you have already accepted inwardly. Protect the seed until the harvest comes. To act like you already won means to live as though your inner vision is more real than the outer world. It means to rise each morning not asking when will it happen, but declaring it has already happened. It means to carry yourself in the feeling of completion, the joy, the gratitude, the relief that you would feel if it were done. Let that be your daily dwelling place. That is imagination at work. That is creation in motion. Do not wait for others. Confirm your vision. Many will not see what you see. They will call it foolishness, fantasy, delusion, but you must hold steady. They cannot see the seed beneath the soil, but you can. They cannot feel the roots stretching in the dark, but you can. They cannot taste the fruit before it ripens, but you can. The imagination is your gift. Guard it, trust it, live from it, and when the day comes, and it will, that the outer world unveils what you have long held within, you will understand that nothing appears without first being imagined. You will see clearly that imagination always precedes manifestation. The world outside you is the echo, the imagination within you is the voice. Speak the voice with conviction, and the echo will come. Picture the end clearly, dwell in it deeply, and the manifestation will arrive in its appointed time. So live now as though it is done. Walk in vision, feel the victory. Let your imagination clothe you in the reality you desire. For what you imagine with faith today, you will surely live tomorrow. The unseen shapes the seen, and imagination is the womb of every victory. Faith is the bridge to reality. Faith is not a wish. Faith is not fragile hope. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, the unseen and the seen, the promise and its fulfillment. Without faith, imagination remains an unplanted seed, a picture that never touches the soil of life. But when you clothe your imagination with faith, it crosses the bridge into reality. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It is the unseen hand that takes what you have accepted inwardly and places it into the world of facts. To act like you already one means to live on this bridge of faith, to walk as though what you believe is already established, even when appearances seem to deny it. Faith does not ask when. Faith declares now. The many misunderstand faith. They think of it as waiting and hoping, but true faith is possession. Faith does not sit at the door hoping it will open. It turns the handle, enters, and walks as though it belongs there. Faith does not beg for evidence. It becomes the evidence. When you walk by faith, you stop living by appearances and begin living by conviction. The outer world may still show lack, but you walk in abundance. The body may still show weakness, but you walk in healing. The situation may still seem against you, but you walk in triumph. Faith bridges the gap between what is seen and what is true, and the bridge is as real as the destination. Faith is a state of being. It is not something you try to work up with effort. It is something you step into with decision. You choose to believe. You choose to occupy the state of victory. You choose to stand in the end result even when the evidence is not yet visible. Faith is that inner choice to live from the outcome instead of the obstacle, and once you choose it, the choice begins to shape everything around you. Life has no choice but to bend toward the one who holds steady in faith. Consider a traveler crossing a river. On one side stands desire, on the other stands fulfillment. The water is deep, the current strong, but stretched across the river is a bridge. To cross it is to trust that the bridge will hold you. Faith is that bridge. It takes you from imagining your victory to experiencing it. You cannot swim across by effort alone. You cannot simply hope the river will dry. You must trust the bridge. You must step upon it, even though the water roars beneath you. To act like you already won is to set your foot on that bridge and walk as though the other side is already yours. Faith does not mean ignoring reality. It means redefining reality. The outer facts may contradict, but faith declares the higher fact of the inner vision. Faith sees what the senses cannot. When you walk in faith, you are not blind. You are seeing more clearly than ever. You are looking not at the temporary but at the eternal, not at the shadow but at the substance. You are gazing beyond appearances into the reality that imagination has already formed. Faith says, "It is finished," long before the world agrees. You may ask, how do I live by faith when everything around me screams opposite? The answer is this: you live from the inside out. You stop letting the outer dictate the inner, and instead let the inner govern the outer. The body may ache, but within you, you hold the image of health. The bank account may be empty, but within you, you live in the feeling of overflow. Situation may seem hopeless, but within you, you dwell in the assurance of victory. You refuse to surrender the inner vision to the outer noise. This is faith, staying rooted in the unseen reality until the seen must bow to it. Faith is tested in delay. Anyone can believe when results are instant. True faith holds steady when nothing seems to move. True faith stands when the night is long, when the silence is heavy, when the promise feels distant. In those moments, faith whispers, "It is done." In those moments, faith continues to walk, continues to act, continues to rest in the finished work. The test of faith is not how loud you can declare it in the light, but how steadfast you can remain in the dark. And those who endure in faith always see the dawn. Let us be clear, faith is not passivity. Faith is not waiting idly for something to happen. Faith is action rooted in conviction. Faith prays with thanksgiving instead of pleading. Faith speaks as though it already holds the answer. Faith acts in alignment with the fulfilled vision. If you believe you already won, you do not carry yourself as defeated. If you believe the promise is already yours, you do not beg, you give thanks. Faith clothes your imagination in reality and compels you to live from that reality now. Think of a musician preparing for a performance. Even before the audience gathers, before a note is played, he practices, prepares, and carries himself as one who is ready. He does not doubt that the stage will be his. He has faith in the performance long before it is seen. Likewise, your faith is the preparation of life's stage. You align your thoughts, words, and actions with the vision you hold inwardly. You set the atmosphere within you so that when the curtain rises, the outer world simply matches what was already rehearsed in faith. Faith is also rest, not the rest of idleness, but the rest of assurance. When you truly believe, you do not strive anxiously, you do not worry about how or when, you rest in the knowing that it is already done. Just as a farmer plants the seed and rests, trusting the laws of growth, so too faith plants the vision and rests, trusting the unseen process. Anxiety is proof of doubt, but rest is proof of faith. To act like you already won is to walk in peace, even before the victory is visible. You may say, but what if my faith fails? The truth is, faith never fails when it is rooted in the unseen reality. It is only when you shift back into doubt, back into appearances, that the bridge feels weak. Strengthen your faith by rehearsing the end daily. Picture it, feel it, speak it, live it. The more you dwell in the finished result, the stronger your faith grows, and as faith grows, the bridge becomes unshakable and your steps become steady. Faith is contagious. When you live in faith, those around you sense it. They may not understand it, but they feel it. Your confidence, your peace, your assurance, it radiates. Often, your faith becomes the catalyst that inspires others to believe. The world may call it impossible, but your faith proves it possible. The world may say it cannot be done, but your faith demonstrates it already is. The bridge you walk becomes the path others dare to follow. So what then? The call. It is simple. Walk the bridge. Stop waiting on the riverbank of hesitation. Stop staring at the water of impossibility. Step onto the bridge of faith and walk as though you already stand on the other side. Let your words match the victory. Let your actions mirror the end result. Let your emotions align with the fulfilled desire. Walk steadily, walk boldly, walk assuredly, for the bridge is strong and it will always carry you to the reality you have already claimed within. Faith is not fragile. Faith is the most powerful force in your possession. It pulls the unseen into the seen, the dream into the tangible, the promise into fulfillment. To act like you already won is to walk this bridge daily, to live as though the end is already complete, to hold your head high and your spirit strong in the assurance of victory. For faith is not waiting, it is knowing. Faith is not trying, it is being. Faith is not someday, it is now. And when you live in this faith, the bridge delivers you unfailingly into the reality that was always yours. Your world reflects your state of being. The world you see around you is not separate from you. It is a mirror, a reflection of the state you occupy within. Every condition, every relationship, every circumstance is but the echo of an inner assumption. To act like you already won, you must first recognize that victory is not about conquering the outer world, but about mastering the inner state. The moment you shift within, the outer must follow. Life has no choice but to reflect the condition of your inner world, just as a mirror has no choice but to reflect the image before it. If you carry the state of defeat, you will see defeat at every turn. If you carry the state of triumph, you will see opportunities, doors, and blessings unfolding in ways that match your conviction. The law is simple, as within, so without. This truth is liberating, for it means you are not at the mercy of circumstances. You are not a victim of chance, nor are you a slave to fate. The outer world is not something happening to you. It is something happening through you, your state of being, the thoughts you dwell on, the feelings you nurture, the identity you claim, casts itself upon the canvas of life and paints the picture you call reality. Change the state, and you change the picture. Shift within, and the without bends to mirror the shift. You are not powerless. You are the source. Think of someone who always expects rejection. They walk into a room with shoulders slouched, eyes downcast, energy heavy with insecurity. Even before a word is spoken, others feel it. Their very state invites the response they fear. Contrast this with one who carries confidence, shoulders back, eyes lifted, energy radiant with certainty. Before a word is spoken, others respond differently. The world reflects what they project. This is not luck, not coincidence. It is the law of reflection. Life is a mirror, and the state you hold is the face it shows back to you. So ask yourself, what is my state of being? What am I radiating into the world each day? If I feel unworthy, life will mirror unworthiness. If I feel chosen, life will mirror favor. If I carry lack, I will meet lack. If I carry abundance, I will meet provision. The world is nothing mocking you, it is serving you. It is reflecting back the very vibration you hold within. To act like you already won is to step into the state of victory now, to radiate the energy of triumph, to embody the identity of the one who has already arrived. The mirror must obey. Your state of being is not simply your thoughts, it is the harmony of thought, feeling, and belief. You cannot think abundance while feeling lack and expect results. You cannot declare victory while believing in defeat and expect triumph. The state must be whole, consistent, unified. When mind, heart, and belief align in victory, the outer world reflects victory with precision. But when they are divided, the reflection is blurred, fragmented, inconsistent. The task, then, is not to force the world to change, but to unify your inner state. The greatest mistake people make is trying to fix the outer while ignoring the inner. They chase after money, relationships, recognition, all the while carrying the state of lack, loneliness, or insecurity. Even if they grasp the outer briefly, it slips away because the inner state has not changed. True transformation begins within. When you become abundance within, money flows and stays. When you become love within, relationships flourish. When you become victory within, success manifests and sustains. The outer is powerless to defy the inner for long. Let us use an image. Imagine you stand before a mirror and frown. No matter how much you try to make reflection smile without changing your own expression, it will not. You can beg the reflection, scold it, shake the mirror, but nothing changes until you smile. Then instantly the reflection smiles back. So it is with life. You cannot scold circumstances into shifting. You cannot beg reality into transformation. You must shift the state within, and instantly, inevitably, the reflection will align. To act like you already won is to adopt the state of the victor now. You may still see challenges outside, but you do not let them dictate your inner stance. You choose to walk in the identity of the one who has overcome. You feel the gratitude, the relief, the confidence of the fulfilled desire. This state becomes your dwelling place, and soon the world has no choice but to echo it. This is not pretense, it is alignment. You are not pretending to be victorious, you are embodying the truth that the victory was always yours. The outer world is stubborn only when you are. It resists you only as long as you resist the inner shift. But the moment you surrender to the state of being you desire, the outer begins to soften, to yield, to bend. This is why acting like you already won is so powerful. You bypass the waiting, the worrying, the striving, and step directly into the state of completion. From there, life must mirror victory. Consider how easily a state spreads into every part of life. If you wake up in joy, the smallest events feel brighter, opportunities appear, people respond warmly. If you wake in heaviness, the same events feel burdensome, closed, unwelcoming. The day is the same, the state makes the difference. Imagine then carrying the state of victory continually. Every door you touch would open, every conversation would favor you, every obstacle would shrink. It is not the world changing randomly, it is you changing inwardly and the world reflecting faithfully. Now let us go deeper. States are not fleeting moods. They are dwelling places. A mood may pass in minutes, but a state is where you live. Many unknowingly live in the state of struggle. They wake in it, work in it, sleep in it, and so their life reflects constant struggle. But the chosen one learns to change their dwelling. They say, I will not live in defeat another day. I will dwell in victory. They step into the state as though putting on a garment, wearing triumph, wearing abundance, wearing favor. And as surely as night follows day, the world confirms it. Your world is always reflecting you, not betraying you. It is faithful, not cruel. If you see failure, ask, what state am I in? If you see rejection, ask, what am I assuming inwardly? The mirror does not lie, but it can be changed. Shift the state, and the picture changes instantly. This is the secret most overlooked. You are not reacting to life. You are reacting to yourself. Life is the echo. You are the voice. So the question is not, when will my world change? The question is, when will I change states? The moment you choose to act like you already won, to embody that energy, that conviction, that identity, the world begins to shift. People respond differently. Opportunities align. Doors appear where walls once stood. Why? Because the reflection must obey the image. The mirror has no choice. Do not underestimate this truth. Your world is not random. Your life is not a gamble. It is a reflection. Master the inner state, and you master the outer condition. Live in the end now, and the end must reveal itself. Carry victory within, and victory will surround you. So I ask you now, what state are you in, and more importantly, what state will you choose? If you are tired of lack, step into abundance. If you are weary of struggle, step into triumph. If you are done with defeat, step into victory. Put on the garment of the fulfilled desire. Walk, speak, think, and feel from it. Life cannot resist the reflection. It must mirror the state you hold. The secret is this: your world reflects your state of being. Change the state, and the world changes with it. Live in defeat, and you will see defeat. Live in victory, and you will see victory. Act like you already won, and soon the mirror of life will show you what you have always carried within. For the outer is powerless without the inner, and the reflection is faithful to the image. Choose wisely what you embody, for it will become the world you live in. The end is the beginning to act like you already won. You must learn to live in the end, for the end is not some distant destination, but the seed of your beginning. The great secret of creation is this: the end exists before the journey starts, and the outcome is secure before the first step is taken. Everything begins with the acceptance of the end as already accomplished. When you live in the end, when you feel the fulfillment of your desire now, you set into motion a chain of events that must lead you there. The outer journey is nothing more than the unfolding of the inner conclusion you have already reached. The end is not tomorrow, it is today. It is the invisible place from which the visible emerges, and once you anchor yourself in it, life bends to carry you into its fulfillment. This truth changes everything. Most live as though life is uncertain, as though outcomes are undecided, as though they must fight and struggle for success. They treat the end as fragile, as something that may or may not happen depending on effort, chance, or luck. But the one who knows walks differently. They begin with the end. They hold it firmly in imagination. They feel it deeply in the heart. They rest in it as already true, and because they have accepted the end, beginning and middle align themselves naturally. Life cannot resist the pull of a completed end. Think of an architect. Before a single brick is laid, the end exists in the blueprint. The design is complete long before the building rises. The construction process is simply the unfolding of finished plan. So it is with your desires. The end is your blueprint. When you accept the end as complete, when you live in the vision of it, the outer world begins to arrange itself to match. The conversations, opportunities, and events of life become the bricks and mortar of your inner design. The end pulls the pieces together because the end is already finished. This is why it is said, declare the end from the beginning. Do not wait for the outer to prove itself before you believe. Declare it now, accept it now, live from it now. The end is the cause, the outer events are the effect. To live as though the end is future is to delay your manifestation indefinitely, but to live as though the end is now is to collapse time and bring it into the present. You are not walking toward victory, you are walking from it. You are not striving toward success, you are flowing from it. The end has already been secured. Your task is to embody it. Living in the end is not fantasy, it is faith in action. It is not pretending, it is creating. When you picture yourself already healed, already blessed, already successful, and when you feel the reality of it in your being, you are not lying to yourself, you are aligning with truth. For the unseen is just as real as the seen, and the end is as real as the beginning. The difference is only whether you dare to occupy it. Most hesitate because appearances contradict. They look at the present facts and say, how can I live in the end when I see no evidence? But the wise know that appearances are the last to change. The unseen shifts first, and the seen follows. The seed is planted before the tree is visible. The blueprint exists before the building rises. The end is complete before the beginning unfolds. To live in the end requires imagination, but it also requires discipline. You must continually return to the feeling of the fulfilled desire. When doubts rise, you remind yourself, it is done. When appearances mock, you answer, the end is secure. When time stretches long, you declare, the beginning and middle are only the path. My end is already accomplished. You do not waver between states. You do not beg or plead. You rest in the conclusion, and you live from it. This state of rest is the greatest power you can hold, for nothing is more magnetic than the one who knows. Life has a way of testing this knowledge. You may feel Moments when the end seems far, when the middle seems chaotic, when the journey feels uncertain. But remember this, the story has already been written. The end has already been decided. You are not wandering blindly. You are walking the path of a completed outcome. The twists and turns may surprise you, but the destination cannot. Just as an author writes the ending before the reader arrives there, your spirit holds the conclusion before your life reveals it. Trust the script, trust the end, walk in confidence, knowing that what you accepted inwardly is more real than what you see outwardly. Let us illustrate this truth. Imagine watching a film for the second time. You already know how it ends. The suspense may still arise, the challenges may still appear, but you are unmoved. Why? Because you know the outcome. You may watch the struggle of the hero, but you do not despair. You may see the opposition, but you do not fear. You know the end, and the end governs your experience. So too with your life. When you live in the end, the present obstacles cannot shake you, because you know the victory is already secured. The end is your anchor. Living in the end also transforms your behavior. If you truly believe you have already won, you stop acting from desperation. You stop begging, you stop doubting. Instead, you act from abundance, from peace, from authority. Your words carry weight because they flow from conviction. Your steps are steady because they flow from completion. The end shapes not only your destiny but your present character. You embody the version of yourself who has already triumphed, and by embodying it, you draw it forth into reality. Many delay their blessings because they refuse to step into the end. They live always waiting, always expecting someday, but someday never comes because the end is not tomorrow, it is now. To act like you already won is to collapse time, to claim today what others postpone to the future. It is to rise each morning not asking, when will it happen, but declaring it has happened. It is to live in gratitude, in joy, in relief, as though the outcome is present. And when you live this way, the outer events race to catch up. The end is also the beginning because every conclusion births a new chapter. When you claim victory in one area, it opens the door to greater victories in others. Life is an endless cycle of ends and beginnings, each end a seed, each beginning a sprout. When you live in the end of one desire, you simultaneously plant the beginning of another. This is the rhythm of growth, the eternal dance of creation. You are never finished, for each fulfilled desire becomes the foundation of a greater one. But the pattern remains: accept the end first, and the beginning will follow. So let us bring it back to you. What end are you willing to occupy? What desire are you willing to accept as already complete? Will you continue waiting, doubting, questioning, or will you dare to step into the end now? The moment you do, the journey begins, the bridge appears, the circumstances align, the world bends, not because you fought, but because you believed, not because you struggled, but because you accepted. The end is not something you chase. It is something you embody, and when you embody it, the beginning unfolds with ease. So hear this clearly: the end is the beginning, the conclusion is the cause, the finished work is the starting point. To act like you already won is to choose the end now, to rest in it, live from it, to walk in its light. The outer world is only the shadow, the inner end is the substance. Hold it, feel it, declare it, and watch as life reveals what was always true. You had already won before the first step was taken.